Welcome to Mainland, your local regional television station. I'm Graham O'Brien, and some of the stories coming up in today's news. Community chairman talks about Motueka's policing problem, Trafalgar costs examined, help needed for refugees, and more. Feeling unsafe in your home is not a great place to be for anyone, and especially not for an elderly Motueka resident who stood up in front of a crowd of over 120 people last week and spoke about her ordeal in her home when an intruder robbed her and ate her food while she was in her home. She was just one of 38 people who spoke about their issues over the lack of police in Motueka at last week's public meeting held at the Memorial Hall. Chrissy Small spoke to Community Chairman Paul Hawkes about the meeting, concerns raised, and where to from here for the community.
Paul, now it was a pretty well tuned out meeting in Motueka last week. Were you expecting that many people from the community to come out and talk about their problems and their issues with policing?
I was certainly hoping that would be the case. I was expecting about 60 people to turn out. To have double that was quite humbling, to think that there are a lot of people out there that shared the similar concerns to me. And not only my concerns, basically I have been voicing concerns of people that have been contacting me, albeit I suppose a spokesman. A lot of people find it very difficult to communicate with people in authority. I just tend to like upsetting people, I think.
Okay, now look, what were some of the concerns raised at the meeting?
One of the big concerns that was here apparent was people felt unsafe. They didn't feel as though they were getting the quality they deserved, both in responses. The communication system has got issues. They've been going through a redevelopment of the communication network, and a lot of communications just isn't getting through to the right people in good time. They're very, very despondent about the response times to those call-ins, the complaints. So it makes it very, very awkward for them to feel as though they're being well looked after, so to speak. The other huge one was that there seems to be this barrier between the police and people. They don't feel as though they're connected. And Matt Arnold-Kelly, who was as our area commander, was very, very open in the fact that he needs to open those lines of communications up more and more, and certainly intends to make it a regular occurrence, having public meetings or private meetings once he has an open door policy.
Now, look, it seems to me, I spend a bit of time in Motueka myself, and the presence of the police just isn't there anymore.
Well, if you're a part-time observer, you could imagine what a lot of the local people are saying. I'm always getting shopkeepers saying, we don't see the presence of the police in town. The only time we see them is when they're racing through in their cars to get to an incident, or responding to call-outs, or occasionally they see them uptown getting their smoko. That's where that connection between public and police is paramount. It's the strongest connection they can get, is visible presence. If people see police, they think they're being well vindicated, they think they're being well looked after, and at the moment there's just not that physical presence there.
Do you think more rat bags are moving into the Motueka region?
No, I don't think so. I think with media and social media these days, our so-called rat bags have changed their tactics, and hence police are having to change their response tactics as well. Motueka is a very high turnover of population, being seasonal, so I dare say we do get some bad elements that come in. To say that we've got a lot of rat bags, I think, is a bit harsh. I just think they could be better controlled.
Right. Okay. Look, there was an incident where a woman was spotted walking completely starkers down the main street not so long ago, and people were amazed that there wasn't any police response for some time, I believe. And she was able to go into the supermarket, put herself through the self-help checkout. Was that brought up at the meeting?
You said put it through the self-checkout. No, it wasn't brought up. It's something that I think is being looked into at the moment. I'd rather not comment on that side of it. I thought it was quite comical. Obviously a disturbed person, shall we say, and I do know the police did attend and certainly acted on information that was supplied to them. I don't know how quick it was. Obviously not very quick. Social media, it hit social media almost instantly. It was amazing.
That's right. Now, look, that was just one incident. Of course, they've just had a big crop find in Motueka as well. So we've got a few green-thumbed people out there, and obviously, there's the undercurrent of other things that are going on. Home invasion. There was one lady that spoke about that.
She was just one of several that spoke of home invasion and calling the police, and was put on a low priority because the person wasn't armed. They were not menacing. They were sitting there having a meal at her table while she was watching, waiting for them to go. But to me, my little patch of land with my house is sacred, and if I have somebody that's in my house that's not meant to be, I want them out. And basically, not, I won't say being fobbed off, but being put on a low priority, especially an elderly lady. I won't say old, an elderly lady, mature lady, to feel totally insecure with a stranger in her house. How would you feel? And not to have somebody basically there within minutes to try and help out, because it could have turned ugly.
What was the response time?
I'm unsure completely, but I'm pretty certain it was the following day.
So people are genuinely feeling unsafe. They've got good cause to.
Yeah, well, that was the underlying tone that came out of the conversations that were had, the discussions that were had with police. And I have to confess, Matt Arnold Kelly, our area commander, was very, very distraught to think that people had that opinion in Motueka. It still does have I only just quickly glanced at the statistics in the Herald about policing throughout New Zealand, and found out that Motueka ranked the second in the country for the highest resolution rates. The resolution rates are very, very low in statistical figures, but we're the second highest, so I'd hate to think what some of the other communities are feeling.
Well, we've just had a case of burglaries going on, a bit of a crime spree in Brightwater. It sounds like the smaller areas are being targeted.
Yeah, rural communities definitely are targeted. And if you want to relate that back to police presence, perhaps there's a direct correlation, a direct link with it.
So where to from now for Motueka?
Basically, Matt had a lot to think about. His parting comment to me as he left was that he had a lot of serious thought to give to the situation. My personal belief is that there will be changes. They're not going to happen immediately because big wheels move very slow. He obviously will have to get permission to make any changes at all in the policing model that is up and running in the existing format. Basically, I'm having a meeting with Matt later this week, a one-on-one meeting to discuss his thoughts and possible changes that may be looming, as well as suggest a couple of three ideas that I've got to put to him. And then next week we aim on having a joint meeting with the community board, so as we can cut out Chinese whispers, we're all on the same page, and then another public meeting.
Nelson's Trafalgar Centre and Rutherford Park improvements seem to be growing in cost, with the budget cap blowout and budget overruns seeming to be the norm rather than the exception to the rule. Kerry Neal joins us for the latest instalment of the Rutherford Park upgrade as seen through the eyes of a concerned ratepayer. Kerry, we're usually talking about the Trafalgar building as such, what's under it, what's going on in it, but today we'll talk a little bit about the expenditure, or actually over expenditure.
Good idea.
So can you tell us a little bit about it, please?
Okay, well, for a start, they've managed to squeeze another 13 million out of the ratepayer, you people, to do what they're doing down there now, plus the cost of the consultants and legal, and there's no record of staff time, incidentally, in all this. So that's another major item that we'll never know. The whole total bill for that entire zone, from the Maitai Walkway to the Trafalgar Centre, known as Rutherford Park, including the new road, adds up to $23.4 million.
Yes.
That's approaching half the annual rate take, and about approaching a quarter of the annual income for Nelson City Council on one zone of nice to have primarily. There are certain things that had to be done on the Trafalgar Centre, like, for instance, attention to the southern end because the staff signed it off unlawfully 7 or 8 years ago. Things have to be done. And the new code that came about because of Christchurch earthquake has opened a Pandora's box. So you've got things like what I've just mentioned, and the steepness of the stairs internally. I understand they're replacing them. They certainly were claiming that a while ago. Replacing them because they're too steep under the current code. Now you can imagine how much expense there is involved in that alone.
Just going back to the area itself, I mean, this figure seems rather large compared to what we were told and what was actually budgeted for that.
Okay, well there's a few overruns, and funny how 700,000 seems to repeat itself, but the Maitai walkway, the big concrete zone, overran by approximately 700,000. They then agreed to an adult playground. That sounds fascinating in itself. Another 700, unbudgeted.
Yep.
And the other day they resolved to spend 700,000 additional on the new road across Rutherford Park to service Trafalgar Centre. The bill on that is 3.2.
I mean, it's quite amazing, really, because I mean, like you say, these things are like, it would be great to have them, but do we really need them to get things up and running?
Well, while people are desperately waiting for attention to culverts and creeks and whatnot out of the Stoke zone, and all this money is being laid out for nice to have, I think the only thing I can say is make sure these councillors that are there now don't get re-elected. They don't deserve to be. They are just simply pawns in a big game of consultants, lawyers, senior staff of local government, all, I won't say conspiring, but working to continue with their own interests. And what's worse, our representatives are letting it happen.
Yeah, well, not
in
calling
fact,
it on.
Worse than that, they defend it when you challenge them. So they've got to go.
And going back to Trafalgar, you know, what about this I mean, we had the Victory Room. It was quite well used before Trafalgar was shut down.
Righto.
And now there is no such room?
Exactly. Yeah, there will be one big foyer, and they were told in no uncertain terms recently they'd forgotten to accommodate the manager in their new scheme of things. So they're now trying to accommodate that in the main stadium somewhere.
Yeah.
This is after councillors sitting there for months poring over what they would like to have for the new southern end.
Yeah.
And worse still, their codes very clearly states if you deny the community a facility, you must approach the community before you embark on any other proposition. They didn't do that. They put the digger through it.
Yeah. And we've also just learned recently that Mayor Reist in an interview, I think it was on the national radio, and she came up that we were thinking of putting curtains up.
Apparently, inside. Well, this is. I believe that now I understand it to mean curtaining inside the main stadium.
Yep.
To reduce the size of the environment. That's what I mean. What the heck? There's nothing wrong with it like it is.
This seems to be another add-on, like
absolutely.
You know, we should be doing this.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, it's another 400.
Yeah, plus something.
Oh,
like
yes, plus
something. Yeah. So all this is adding up and adding up and adding up to, so far you're saying 23.4 million. And is that? Do you think is that actually the maximum that we're gonna pay, do you think, in your opinion, or is there more what else are we going to put in there, or what else are we going to do?
It's rare that they come out less.
Yes. Yeah, well, not much stuff comes under budget.
And particularly in this day and age where new requirements come along all the time in the middle of a project.
Yep.
And there's nothing even a local authority can do about that.
Yep. Kiwi Air has found that one aircraft is just not enough after mechanical problems grounded its one Saab aircraft last month. The airline has had to call in Air Chathams to run its service. Now Kiwi Air is looking at crowdfunding to raise $2 million to buy a second aircraft. Kiwi Regional Chief Executive Ewan Wilson said the fundraiser would be an equity crowd-funded campaign, meaning pledges would become shareholders once the financial target was met. The new aircraft would be a Saab 340QC used for passenger and freight charters and as a backup for maintenance of its existing aircraft. Kiwi Regional currently flies Hamilton, Nelson, Dunedin, Christchurch and Tauranga routes. Wilson said that he finds the idea of a community of New Zealand shareholders being a part of Kiwi Regional Airlines quite exciting. Nelson Red Cross is looking for mentors for an initiative to help refugees get behind the wheel. I spoke with coordinator Claire Nichols to find out more. Claire, we have different organisations helping Nelson refugees integrate into as New Zealanders. You've got a program that's coming up that's definitely going to help, that everyone can relate to. Can you tell us a little bit more about it, please?
For sure. So New Zealand Red Cross, Nelson, is going to be running a refugee driver training program. It's going to start in mid-March, and it's about matching 15 mentors with 15 former refugees who are going to be learners. So what I'm looking for is 15 people who would like to be those mentors to support the former refugees into driving. So the program, as I said, starts mid-March, and people will need to commit for 12 to 16 weeks. So we'll match the mentor with the learner. So the mentor will have one learner through the whole program. 12 to 16 weeks, going out about 2 to 3 times a week. So we're asking for 2 or 3 hours commitment for the mentors. And the program is going to be supported by Gary Dunn, who's from Dunn's Training School. And it's a fixed program, so the mentor will be following a program, so they don't have to make it up themselves as they go along. They'll be following a fixed program, and the person will go from their learner's licence, and at the end of the program, what we're hoping to achieve is that person will then be able to go on and get their restricted licence. So 15 mentors, and they can get hold of me through the Nelson Red Cross. It's something else I'd like to say, that it's one of 3 regions in New Zealand who are rolling out the program, and it's supported by New Zealand Immigration. So we've been lucky enough to get the funding through New Zealand Immigration to support the program. So 15 mentors.
And they don't have to use their own car, I guess. And do they have some sort of check or some sort of training? You don't want the boy racers to say, hey, I'd love to teach someone how to do burnouts out down Annesbrook roundabout.
I'm sure those people won't be approaching us. So the car will be a dual control car that we supply, so there'll be no cost to the mentor themselves apart from their time. The people will need to have a police check to make sure that they've got clean driver's licence, and they have to fill in an application form. The applications need to be in by the 17th of this month, so if people can contact me at New Zealand Red Cross Nelson, then they can get the application form.
Do the mentors have some kind of training in a dual control car? Because I've never driven a dual control car before.
For sure. So Gary will be doing a training session with the mentors prior to them heading out in the cars, and then through the program there are fixed times when the mentors come back and connect with Gary to learn the next stage of the process. So there's 3 courses within the program, so at least 3 times the mentors will be connecting with Gary to learn the next steps.
And how do you see this program enhancing the New Zealanders' lives here?
For sure. So, of course, I think that it's fantastic for increasing people's employability. Having a driver's licence is really important here in Nelson for people to be able to get out to work, especially if they're working shift work, some people working in the evenings or working further out of town. We know that we have a limited public transport system, and so it just means that people have more independence. So yes, associated with employment, but also about independence and connecting and having those skills.
And I'm sure many people appreciate what it's like to have your licence in a place like New Zealand.
For sure, yeah. Well, a lot of our learners also, those people who have come from Bhutan, who have been in refugee camps in Nepal for 20 years, they haven't had the opportunities to drive themselves, so this is all new as well. But then for some of the people who have come out of Burma, they've been in Malaysia and had experience already, but new skills, driving in New Zealand, having to learn all the new rules that go with it, but the people have already got their learner's licence, so that's a good start.
And finally, Rainy House has made its move after being sold for a mere $8,500 last month. The buyer is from Mapua, and Mainland believes the 190 square metre house built from native timbers will be converted back into a 3 or 4 bedroom home and has now been transported to a site in Mapua. The Rainy House site will now have built a full-size orchestral rehearsal room and recital theatre, new studios and green rooms, a library, classrooms and a remote learning and keyboard lab as part of a $6.4 million School of Music strengthening project. After the break, we'll bring you the latest weather update and some events and happenings coming up from around the region.
Why would you want to pay as much as $1,000 for a single bed mattress when you can buy a high quality locally made mattress like this for as little as $220? And a queen size mattress could cost you in excess of $3,000, but at Nelson Beds you could have a mattress like this as low as $425. So why would you go out and spend a fortune on your child's bedroom when you can come to Nelson Beds and buy a complete single mattress and base set, a 7-drawer Scotch chest, a headboard and a 3-drawer bedside cabinet for as little as $979? So call and discuss our custom manufacturing options and local after sales service at Nelson Beds, Nelson's only bedding manufacturer.
Welcome to Smugglers Pub and Cafe, open 7 days a week with free parking all day. Our lunch menus have that old-fashioned flavour where we treat you like treasure with the food you'll savour.
We cater for children, grannies and granddads too, with special rates and privileges given to the elderly lunchtime crew. Our staff are friendly and kind and want to see you all come back time after time.
Daytime or evening, it doesn't matter. Give us a call on 546 4084 and we'll be happy to spoil ya.
We're the team at JCar, right here in Nelson, 120 Hardy Street. Our shop is full of electronic items,
including security alarm systems, electronic components,
solar and power,
electronics toys,
sound systems, cables and much, much more. JCar.
120 Hardy Street, Nelson.
World War I was a defining period in our history, impacting greatly on the lives of people from the Nelson province. Memories of the First World War is an exhibition which will be displayed in a number of regional venues and is currently on at the Nelson Provincial Museum.
Sit and Be Fit is on at the Victory Community Centre Tuesdays and Thursdays at 10 a.m. at the Victory Community Church, 238 Upper Vanguard Street. School terms only. Fun while you get fitter, work at your level. For more information, please contact Shirley on 547 1433 or 021 121 8023.
Victory 60 Plus is on Tuesdays at 1:30 through to 3:30 p.m. at 238 Upper Vanguard Street. You can join in for cards, games and a cuppa.
On behalf of the team here at Mainland Television News, thank you for joining us, and we'll bring you the latest news and events from around the region again tomorrow.
supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.
Are you looking for a scooter, walker, wheelchair, baby seats or pushchairs? Then come in and see the Nelson Region Specialist at Mobility for You, 269 Queen Street, Richmond, opposite the library. We have a huge selection of scooters, walkers, wheelchairs and accessories, along with a free booklet guide. We also provide a breakdown service if you ever get a puncture or a flat battery. We have fully equipped service vans to rescue you. Hi, I'm Robin Jordan and I invite you to call in and see the friendly team at Mobility for You, 269 Queen Street, Richmond, opposite the library.
From Cresswell's on Market Street, we've fitted footwear for all seasons, all reasons. For summer times in the sounds, for solid support on the sidelines, for social events around town, for good times round the grapevines. That's why at Cresswell's we believe in fitting footwear correctly so you get the best out of quality shoes and sandals and can then get the best out of life.
Cresswell Special Service, it's unique, helping keep Marlborough on its feet for over 60 years.
Nelson Tire Center, great prices, great service. Buy your own Bryford trailer, all types, all sizes. See Colin Douglas for your tires and batteries.
Welcome me hearties to Smuggler's Pub and Cafe, famous for hearty meals, craft ales and a friendly service way. Sensational seasonal menus with meals all day and evening too, or sail in for a snack with special menus for young smugglers and you. Settle in for a jolly old time, relax and enjoy our award-winning dining and lovely fine wine. Decked out in an old worldly way, we're open 7 days. Book or come on in to 8 Muritai Street, not far from a beach, walk or swim. Phone 546408.
Hi there, Julian Toon, Waimea Telecommunications. We install and maintain domestic and commercial satellite TV, UHF Freeview and Mainland TV installations in the Nelson, Tasman regions. We specialise in Panasonic telephone systems and provide communications, Wi-Fi, IT and wiring for internet, fibre, computers and DSL systems. At Waimea Telecommunications, we also provide specialist electronic systems for features such as a security camera you can watch on your TV, visitor alert systems and much more. Improve your security and communication and entertainment today. Call us on Waimea Telecommunications on 021 472297, ytel.co.nz.
Christchurch's top 10 holiday park, situated on 5 hectares of beautiful park-like settings. Only 5 kilometres from Christchurch town centre. 10 minutes from Christchurch International Airport and minutes away from Northlands Mall and all its facilities, including a 24-hour supermarket. And just across the road is a great variety of restaurants to choose from. Christchurch Top 10 Holiday Park has been a family-owned business for over 40 years and a proud member of the Top 10 Holiday Park Group, New Zealand's premier holiday parks chain. Our Top 10 Holiday Park is world-renowned as a family park and provides a wide range of facilities such as a heated swimming pool, bike hire, free barbecues, a jumping pillow, trampolines, a family games and TV room, and wireless internet. Accommodation options cater for a wide variety to suit all needs, from tent and camper van sites to family, luxury and corporate motels. And to make life easy for wary travellers, we even have a drive-through camper van check-in. At our Top 10 Holiday Park, we even provide housing solutions for earthquake-damaged houses and help with insurance approval. Come visit the Christchurch Top 10 Holiday Park, one of New Zealand's premier holiday parks, and experience all that Canterbury and Christchurch have to offer, right on our doorstep. Christchurch's amazing Top 10 Holiday Park. Top experience, always.
Meadow Park, located on Cranford Street near the main North Road, Christchurch.
We're the team at J-Car, right here in Nelson, 120 Hardy Street. Our shop is full of electronic items,
including security alarm systems, electronic components,
solar and power,
electronics toys,
sound systems, cables and much, much more. Jacob.
120 Hardy Street, Nelson.